You want an investment edge, but all you hear is noise, hype, and half-truths. Every signal is solid information, but only if you can see the bigger picture. This is where the Quasar magic happens. Weather, charts, news, all financial signals, funneled into a single dashboard. Data alone isn't enough. Quasar Markets turns it into energy, sharp, clear, precise. Optimize with Quasar Markets today. Your edge when investing.
Good morning, Quasar family, and welcome back to Quasar Markets Live. It is Wednesday, October 1st, and we're starting quarter four with a bang. Big Beat is back. Electricity working back down there in Tampa these days.
Yeah, I guess pay my bills, right? Look, very simple. The markets are telling you exactly what we've been saying here for 3 months now, that it's happening. Job losses are picking up now, and it looks like good morning, Marilyn. And yes, we did get the red shirt memo this morning, as Howard always says. Look, it's happening. And I think my bearish thesis is about to pick up here on top of all of this. Why is the market pushing up with everything going on is beyond me. That it's just not smart. And I said the same thing in 08. And when it happened, it happened. And I think people need to be prepared for it, right? So here we are.
Yeah, I mean, all the talk, obviously, around the government shutdown overnight, gold ripped to a fresh all-time high. Yeah. We have a huge takeover rumor in utilities that ties right into our AI energy theme.
Wait,
plus,
who is it taking over what? I mean, Warren Buffett, Occidental? Who's been saying that for over 3-4 months now, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
plus you have earnings movers, some analyst upgrades, and some crypto equities to cover. So we got a lot. We got to start with the big picture, Steve. Futures are soft this morning. Dow futures down about 200 points, S&P off 0.5%, and the NASDAQ lower by about 0.6. VIX creeping higher, but nothing disorderly, just risk off into the new quarter.
Yes. It's October, and October is usually September is usually the worst month, and we kind of skated through that a little bit. It was interesting this morning on some of my own social media feeds. I heard someone talk about this morning, market's an all-time high, blah blah blah. I'm like, well, okay. If you follow the trajectory of where we were 2 years and 3 years ago, we are way behind where we should be, right? We were playing catch up, and I think that's what a lot of people don't understand. This is playing catch up, but job losses, okay, and somebody's going to say, oh well, that was because of the Biden administration overinflating numbers, and they're reconfiguring numbers, and this is what job losses are still happening, and there are no jobs to go back to, and tariffs are affecting the markets, and they are affecting jobs, and especially now in the Midwest. I've been talking about this now, and more tariffs on furniture. It's not going to help North Carolina. More tariffs coming out on other countries now, not going to help. And we're now starting to see the feelings of this, and we're starting to feel the repercussions of it, and it's starting to hit now. Inflation up, job losses are picking up. That is pure and simple, exactly what I've been saying for over 6 months. It's coming, and it's here, and it's sitting right in our face, and it's stagflation. It's here. So this is the worst economy that you can possibly be in a wrong way of doing it, and yet people aren't really seeing that, and that is what we do. So
Yeah. Well, either the bond market, though. Treasuries are calm with 10-year at 4.14. Dollar is softer. That's helping gold hit brand new records, and silver's riding shotgun at that 47.40 on the futures. I saw, Steve. Gold's up almost 17%.
The congressional website now showing that Trump nominates Hill for FDIC chair. So the old Sheila Baird position here is gone now. So that's interesting. Okay. Sorry about that.
No problem. So like we said, government is officially shut down as of midnight. What does that mean for the markets and for the people? I mean, we know, I got a lot of questions. Social Security checks still go out. Medicaid still gets paid.
For a little while.
What's that?
For a little while.
No. Those are part of a trust, and they're mandatory payments. The government has nobody has a way to shut it off.
Unless the money runs out. which the money hasn't run out yet, but the cash can run out and they can stop making payments, which is what the difference is. I think a lot of people have been asking about this shutdown compared to the last shutdowns. There is cash, there is essentials, as Howard is talking about, but they could run out of those that funding of that because they have to transfer money. So right now, while the money is there, the difference is this: the Democrats said again today. Chuck Schumer said he is not going to be bullied into this. So this we could be in for a long fight here. I don't think this is going to be an easy one, and I think Speaker Johnson is starting to realize that too as well.
The things that we won't get: no jobs report on Friday, although ADP came out today. No CPI in mid-October, and about 750,000 federal workers will be furloughed. Military and federal employees don't get paid during the lapse. And if the president does come through with his threat of mass firings, saying thousands of federal workers could lose their jobs permanently, that's a big change from prior shutdown, which usually ends with back pay for the workers. So,
right.
Very different.
Cash. That's what I'm saying. The cash is probably a problem this time, whereas in the past, now I know that in the Clinton one, Newt Gingrich shut down, which when you and I lived horribly through. That one there was interesting because they had to make a congressional budget afterwards and then make the back pay by actually approving that. There's no EOs or executive orders on this one. There's no EOs for this one. If you are going to make back pay. So right now everything seems to be okay. Silver just took off again. Look at that. Oh my. Whoever just sold, that's gone. 47.50 now. I mean, you're talking about the 1970s now. At this price now, we've really blown through. This is Peter Thomas time, baby. This is the Hunt brothers trying to corner the silver market. That's what we're talking about.
Steve, let's shift into deal chatter that's moving utilities today. Financial Times reports BlackRock-owned Global Infrastructure Partners is in advanced talks to buy AES Corp in a deal worth around $38 billion.
More and more M&A. We talked about that about 6 months ago, that I figured by the middle of this year we'd be deep into mergers and acquisitions. Why? Because there's a lot of cash on the sidelines. I think we talked about this before. Market, I think it's this morning was 7.9 trillion. We've already added another $700 billion to the money markets that could go into the stock market. Money is coming out, but that money that they are using, they can take that, the banks can, and say, okay, we will, instead of increasing margin to investors trading, we'll pull that money back and let these big companies buy other companies. That's what's happening right now. Yeah.
So paying around $38 billion. The AES market cap is only at $9.5 billion, but they're sitting on $29 billion of debt. That's why the real number is to watch here is enterprise value, which would be market cap plus debt minus cash. That's about $41 billion for AES. So BlackRock doesn't need to pay a premium on enterprise value terms, even though the stock looks cheap. Do you like this deal, Steve?
It's an interesting deal. I can see why they're thinking about it, but BlackRock really needs to spend money, and they need to invest money. They're pulling money out of the markets themselves. Their own firm is, and their people are too. So they need to put money to work, and this is what they're doing. They're buying cheap companies with a huge amount of debt that are in trouble, and this will be one of those companies. So I do like the deal. I do like the deal, yeah. For BlackRock, not for AES. For AES is kind of bad.
And why AES? It's renewables plus their LNG imports in the Caribbean and Latin America. But the big story is actually about AI data centers from Microsoft, Meta, Alphabet. They're all creating an unprecedented demand for power. So owning utilities with renewable pipelines becomes a strategic asset for BlackRock moving into the future. That has AES as the biggest mover of the day, up almost 10% on that takeover chatter. Steve, AST Space Mobile up 8%. That's the satellite communication name. Space to cell phone story has been moving the markets the last couple of days. You a fan of what you're seeing there in ASTS?
I love it. I love space. I will tell you, some of the money that's going into that is coming out of Firefly. because Firefly had one of their rockets blow up. So I think some of that money that came out of there is going into other places, and I think that this is the beneficiary of that. Yeah.
Steve, another one interestingly up about 2.78% here, Peloton. They just launched their Peloton IQ AI-powered platform, raised subscription prices, and unveiled a new commercial pro series. This is the make it or break it holiday season for them. Are you a buyer of Peloton on this news?
What did I say? Was it 2 weeks ago? I said, here's one for everybody that I wasn't sure about, but I like the stock. Peloton. I said, I don't want to blow anybody's mind. I think the quote was I used, but I like Peloton. Why? Stationary bikes, I get it. It's all about services, and that's what I said, services. Services are going to be hot coming into the winter, the holidays, and not just for Peloton, but Apple and all those companies that have major services. Expect that to be the big winner in the holiday season this year. So, yeah, I do like Peloton, and I think Peloton could easily get bought out.
There you go. Another one moving up today is Sunrun, up about 5.15% after getting hit yesterday pretty hard, down about 2.76. Jefferies upgraded the stock, citing potential from power purchase agreements and lease contracts for 2026. Well, solar, we know the current administration not a big fan. What do you think about that move?
I like solar. Kevin Green from Schwab Network and I was on the other day talking about energy quite heavily. And if you haven't seen that video with me and Kevin, I highly suggest it, because we were as he said, we were nerding out. I like nerding out in a lot of ways, because energy is the hot commodity right now. Why? Because money is coming out of the oil markets. WTI now below $62 a barrel, 61.66. So that money is moving into it. Now, what's interesting is in Tesla, the EV tax credit has also come off. So that is also affecting EVs, and EVs need more energy in order to move, right? Not oil. So oil's dropping, EV credits coming off, and solar and wind are becoming the issue. So again, I think, yes, Sunrun, I like this move. I think people are putting solar panels on their house. I know my neighbors just put one on theirs, and yes. How long does this last? I'm not sure, especially coming up with job losses. I don't see this being in the future, right? This is my thesis. So oil coming down is telling you that people aren't going to be driving around the world as much, your cars. You know that I was just and I got to go back on Monday. I'm flying back to New York on Monday, Saturday through Monday to the NASDAQ. The airports are empty. They're not as crazy as they have been, right? Maybe it's waiting on the holidays. I don't know, but it's been quiet. I just walked through Newark Airport twice and go, wow, I went straight through TSA. Like, wow, there wasn't anybody in the lines. That's nutty, right? So that tells me that things are happening the way that they're happening. So no, I don't think, while I think they had a good run in the summer, which was smart, I don't think they're going to win come the next 6 months.
Okay, on the side of laggards there, we got Cal-Maine Foods down almost 7% after an earnings miss. They grew revenue, but margins got squeezed even with egg sales up. This one's been beaten up and recovers and beaten up and recovers. Where are you thinking about Cal-Maine?
Okay, real quickly before you say that, Diamondback CEO just says it's hard to see U.S. shale growth at $60 a barrel for oil. He's saying exactly what I just said, right? Shale and fracking what it is, they're not going to find it. So, yeah, I agree. They're saying what we're saying now. I'm sorry about that. Go ahead, Howard.
Just asking you your thoughts on Cal-Maine, down about 7.5% off of their earnings today.
All right. So Cal-Maine Foods is a different situation. So when you look at Cal-Maine, you got to figure out what it is that they actually produce. They produce eggs. That's right. And they are the largest producer of fresh eggs. When you're thinking about food and foodstuffs, as we say, stuff that is a word, and foodstuffs is a word in the business. You know that. A lot of people have been asking me as I'm going through this weight loss, how am I getting my protein? Well, eggs are one way of doing that, right? Peanut butter, another way of doing that. So I like Cal-Maine. Cal-Maine can get hit with bird flu. Cal-Maine can get hit with whatever. I mean, salmonella. There's a lot of issues there. I like it if you're looking for long term and people continue to eat eggs. But I don't know that that's the case. When I look at the egg situation, I have to look at it from two perspectives: future profits in eggs, meaning are people going to go to at the breakfast a lot more in the future? And I think the answer is no. And I think that there's that the salmonella, bird flu, all those things that squeeze the egg business, I think has been fixed, right? And I think that there's a problem. So no, I think it's that they're probably going to come down a little bit more. They're not quite there yet.
Okay. The one thing I would point out is eggs are a cheap protein, like you said. So if you think things are getting as bad as they are, egg sales will increase for home use because, again, it's at least a less expensive way to feed your family.
That's correct.
Marvell here down about 2% here this morning, Steve, after TD Cowen cut them to hold, trimmed their price target to $85. And the OpenAI supply deal is with Samsung and SK Hynix. Were you surprised that Marvell did not get that OpenAI business? There'd been a lot of rumors about it.
You're absolutely right. I am very, very, very concerned. Very concerned. Marvell has been on the forefront of a lot of this, and they're losing out now. So they need to get their hind end in gear. They're going to be in trouble here soon.
Steve, we didn't talk about one of your favorites that is a gainer today, little Nike store. Up 4.82% here so far. Stronger than expected Q1 revenue, $11.7 billion and an EPS beat. But the management does warn the turnaround will not be linear and tariffs are a $1.5 billion headwind. You running with Nike today?
Look, I've been running with Nike for a while now. Look, the new shoes were great. I like the direct-to-consumer market. We talked about that. Get on your phone, and you can now see through their own app now. The Nike store, the Nike outlets are doing very well. But that new DN8 shoe, I bought it. I love it. It's the most comfortable shoe I've ever worn. And Nike is turning it around over there. So you got to really like what their thought process is, going to the consumer and asking what they really want, what kind of look they want on their shoe, and the ability to make colors and changes to your own shoes. I think Nike has won with that. So I saw that back in the summer. We talked about that in the summertime, and here we are. So again, right, what we talked about, Howard, is themes. This is how you make money. It's not buying crazy FOMO stocks every day. It's about having a thesis and making bigger money, right? So that's what I like that. But let's talk about your thing, Howard, and let's talk about crypto, man. Kaboom, kaboom, kaboom. My favorite word when it comes to Bitcoin and Ethereum and Solana. Look at this run, 116.7. Just not too long ago, it was 109, 108, and Chicken Little was running around. The head cut off. We're going to go to 20,000.
Hey! You were one of those Chicken Littles.
And I was out, and I went back in while we were gone.
I just want to point that out. You were. What I would say though here is, hitting on key resistance. You had great recovery over the last week. Right back to where we were, almost at 117. We got key resistance above us. We have the chance for a little bit of more of a short squeeze here. But I am seeing more and more calls by people that I do trust that are going, 25% cash, that are taking money out of the market here as they are a little weary and like yourself on the general risk on, risk off type scenario, feel there could be bargains to be had in the future. So do want to point it out, while the recovery is great, this might be a time here, if it really does, especially if you see the squeeze today take you to 118, that you might want to take a little profit and wait for the next time it goes down to 108.
I mean, if we squeeze to 118, Howard, you can damn well bet I'm going to be taking some cash off and some investment off and put that money back in and wait for another pullback to go again. But I will say that I think there's could be a nice run to 124, 126 here too as well. If this, unfortunately, if the government continues to screw around with each other, then there's a good chance we could go higher.
Yeah. The thing that concerns me there is more that all crypto is up and all crypto is not a hedge against it.
Right.
Most of crypto should be trading in the same way that tech stocks are today, down. So that part does worry me a little bit when it comes to that also, because this is just a money. This looks to me to be a little manipulation of, again, I can push the market up and then distribute into this.
Yeah, Ford Motor Company popping here on the back of those numbers. There's U.S. sales increased by 8.2% in the third quarter, surging by electric vehicles, popping by 30.2% on average.
So remember, that is because everybody would jump. Number one, they had huge deals on EVs going into the end of those of the credits.
The tax credit.
And people that did want to get them had to, because keep in mind that we've just seen a few companies that are actually cutting back on their EV production here in the U.S. because the U.S. is stepping away from it. And it's funny because it's the exact opposite of what we see in Europe, where they are stepping more and more into it on a daily basis. We are 5 minutes from the open here. Tick has stayed pretty negative throughout the day, but not too much, just sort of pegged right around up or down 100. It's been the skew. Advanced decline down about 400 here. We do see the NASDAQ set to open down about a 0.5 percentage point right now at 597.57. The S&P set to open down about 40 basis points, erasing yesterday's gains. And the Dow Jones set to open slightly down also. VIX has moved up to 1670. So again, when it was down in the low 15s, we told you to get your protection before you needed it. So hopefully you did. Gold, as Steve mentioned, taking a little bit of a pullback here this morning from the highs of the day. But, you know, those highs just below 3,900 on the spot market. And silver now at 47.39. Looks like it wants to get to Steve's 50 pretty quickly here. This is the tough resistance, though, for the last week or so has been this 47.50 area. So keep an eye on that. Steve, you mentioned oil, $61 again. It's the one thing that I also would say is being a big help to keeping inflation in check, is that year-over-year pricing on gas is down about 6-7%.
Well, I mean, if electric vehicles are up 30% at Ford and job losses are picking up, then there's no need for gasoline now. I mean, what's interesting here with crude is that we could start switching out the refineries and move it to other things, which means that if they start refining more plastic or lipstick and things that oil makes, petroleum products make, that could help out the inflation too at the CVS and the Walgreens, right? So we'll see. Johnson & Johnson being one of those companies, Kenvue being another company like that. Right now, I'll tell you, interestingly enough, my eye right now is on Mickey D's McDonald's here, 303.89. Over the 300 handle here is very, very, very interesting to me. Is that CoreWeave up another 11% today? Is that bouncing back up there? CoreWeave?
Yeah, CoreWeave, they signed another deal.
That was yesterday, right? Up to 12% up. Yeah, I must have missed that one. I guess power being out in my house helped. But that is interesting here. CoreWeave might be a little bit over its skis here. CoreWeave might be a sell here today, boys and girls. Yes, I think so. The 1 hour chart on CoreWeave is very interesting to me. QQQ slipping a bit here in the early trade. We got about 2 minutes here to the open.
Mag 7 so far. Everything except for Apple set to open to the downside. Meta down about 1.5%. Same thing. Netflix down almost 2% here. Steve, you
yeah. Elon Musk says he's canceling Netflix. Okay. This is interesting. CoreWeave here to me here 135.85 here. That is interesting. Because that deal, I mean, they're saying now the market cap of CoreWeave is $67 billion. I mean, that doesn't. It's not adding up.
This was after Meta announced a $14.2 billion cloud computing deal with them.
Yeah. And that's good. I'm glad they got the deal. The 52-week range.
They don't have the energy to give them yet.
Right. That's exactly right. I am looking at CoreWeave as a short here this morning on this.
Steve, we briefly hit on it. Berkshire Hathaway looking to buy part of Occidental's business. What do you think there?
I mean, it's just a matter of time before Warren Buffett will own Occidental Petroleum.
Well, he said he'll never do that in reference to the magnate, I forget his name, who started the family that still owns Occidental.
Yeah, the Ham family. It's interesting. They are friends. You know, they live near each other, right? Yeah, I don't know. I just doesn't make me. I think that they do. I think he does. Okay, we're now
open. Are you a buyer of Oxy? It was down. It's now about flat on the day. You buyer on that news of Oxy?
No, I'm definitely not. I am looking at CoreWeave here, jumping a little bit here. CRWV. I'm probably going to short it here. 136.86. I am going to sell short here. Okay, I'm short at 136.20 something. I gotta look at that. Oh, there it is, 135.20. I gotta take this profit here. That was great. Hopefully you were listening to me out there. Could drop. Yeah, I missed it. Missed it. Try it again here. Also looking at short Tesla here too as well. I think that the whole markets here is. I think we're going to start to see people start to take some profit here, Howard.
Makes sense.
Yeah. I am now also short Tesla here. Oh, look at that drop in CoreWeave. Got it, baby. Hopefully you're listening out there to me. Tesla dropping too as well. Qs are running a little bit here.
Tick slightly positive. Advanced to kind down 688 so far.
What happened to Tesla?
There goes Tesla.
Holy shit. Let's go, baby. Let's go. And taking profit there on Tesla as well. So CoreWeave and Tesla, nice move this morning. Thought that was
AES now up 13%, still moving to the upside. ASTS up 8%. Sunrun up 11.8 and running to the upside. So Sunrun new all-time high by about $1 here already.
Yep, loving this market this morning.
Peloton moving to the downside. So folks not impressed with their new product line, now down 2.2%. Wow, Peloton getting hit hard here. 2.56% to the downside.
Oil 61.24. Silver now, I don't know, 3-decade high, 5 decades high here. 47.55 now.
Wow. Nike getting hit a little bit here after jumping up to 74.50, all the way back down at 73 here. So we are seeing a sell-off across those early morning winners. Meanwhile, tick is positive here. Qs are bouncing to the upside. SPY bouncing to the upside also.
Apple pushing up on this. I mean, we talked about this. Buy Apple, short everything else. Interestingly enough, here, Palantir only down less than 1% here. That is interesting right there to me.
Solana back above 219 here.
Oh, CoreWeave now down 2% here. I had a feeling that was a great short there this morning. Hopefully you were listening to me. Look at that short. Kaboom. Now I think, I'm out of CoreWeave and I'm out of Tesla short. So, we could
Coinbase up 2% here today. Most of the crypto stocks were up at 344.07 here. They did get a couple of upgrades. BTIG at 410 on a new initiation of an analyst there.
Tesla trying again to the upside. I meant to do it again.
MicroStrategy up 3% here today, 3.35%. Chip sector is a mixed bag. ARM up about 2.5% here today. It got hit pretty hard yesterday. Intel up almost a percentage point so far today. Marvell, like we talked about, down 2.9% now after missing out on the contract with OpenAI. Broadband down 1.13% so far today.
Okay, Tesla pushing to the upside here.
AES continuing to push to the upside also, now up 15.3%. Same thing with Sunrun, now up 13.59%. So definitely there. Folks are buying the dip on CalMain, now only down 2% off the lows at 84.50, now trading at $92.
I am now short again on Tesla here, 443.91.
DXY back down at 97.51 here, 4 straight days of downward movement. So we will have Mr. Flanagan on. We're going to have to ask him what is going on there. And I'm assuming the government shutdown.
I'm going to
AES now up 16% on the day. Sunrun now up 14%. Both just hit highs of the day. Nike up 4.32%, still pulling back slightly.
I'm shorting more here. Tesla here, 445.40. Looks like I got 445.40. So this could be the end of this run here.
A little bit of a pullback here on Robinhood after hitting an all-time high of 143.62 yesterday.
Ouch.
A little bit of a pullback there, not too surprising.
Order tax market.
We look across the different sectors of the S&P. Real estate slightly in the positive. XLV, which is healthcare, is the big winner so far today, up 1.13. A lot of that based on Pfizer and some of the other news that they would be putting plants in order here in the U.S. to avoid tariffs.
116.7 now on Bitcoin is holding up
we
there.
Do see utilities up about 0.25 percentage point. Also, laggards today, industrials down 0.5 percentage, and the financial sector down about 60 basis points. We do have earnings coming up, if I'm not mistaken, on JP Morgan sometime here soon, right? Let's see when this loads up. Ooh, Tesla really breaking the upside now.
It is a little bit. Yeah, I'm a little not worried though. I think we'll have a big sell here. Yeah, Qs are starting to pull back a bit here.
Seeing
Yeah,
backed
Qs.
halted for news here. Backed halted for news. BKKT,
Like,
crypto based stock owned by the parent company is ICE on this, or was ICE at least. They're up 74% this week. Circle nicely up 1.86% above 135 here. Nice little move to the
Wedbush, Dan Ives, they're raising Tesla's target to 600.
Oh,
okay, Dan, I get you. Now you can short the hell out of this
he's
thing.
a Tesla bull. We know that.
Yeah. And I liked some of the things Tesla's doing. There's your pullback. Starting to come down now a little bit. Silver, look at silver. Look at that thing.
Yeah, 2.27% here. Wow. 47.73. Yeah, Bitcoin holding up, Ethereum holding up so far. So far, still solid. We're in a little trade on Solana. It's up to 1973. Our first exit's at 225 there. Tick's gone positive about 374, and Qs continue to try to push back to the upside here, Steve. So Qs look like they want to challenge highs of the day, 599.07 here. And part of that being led by the MAG here now, with Apple up 1.3%, Tesla pulling back a little bit from those highs of the morning. NVIDIA, though, starting to get a little bit of strength, it looks like, going again. Google off the lows of the day. Microsoft, not as much momentum there. Biggest laggard has been Netflix, down about 2.4% here. Same thing, Meta looking weak here, down about 2.07%. AES finally cooling off a little bit after hitting 1539, back down at 1517. And we do see same thing for Sunrun, made a run up to 1985, now slightly pulled back to 1925. So we do see a little bit of profit taking. Steve, Peloton, man, down 8% after being one of the early morning gainers.
Yeah, I liked Peloton. I still do. I think that the product's going to be good in the holidays, but I do not have a position in Peloton at all. It's just so everybody knows.
Yeah. Cal-Maine on the other side now looking to go flat on the day, only down at 77 basis points. Wow, retracing almost the entire loss from their earnings report as people start to realize that eggs are still a big part of our diet. ARM up 2.08% here and looking to try to break out to the upside. AES still pulling back here. Tesla nicely down, back down to 445.60 for you, Steve. So moving in the right direction.
Yeah, I'm good.
QMMM, which was halted yesterday, up 19.4%. The crypto-based company, but wait a second. Oh, they released their stat. So this was supposed to be on hold till the 10th, I thought.
Hey, Maryland caught Solana with you, man.
What was that? Nice. There you go, Maryland. Love it. Steve, I'm a little confused. QMM was halted, and I believe trading has been halted. Is expected to resume on October 10th.
Oh my, could be a buyer there.
But it's back trading today.
Okay.
I don't get it. I'm confused there. So that one's got me a little confused there. Plug now up 9.66% here today. AstraZeneca up 6.47. If I had to guess there, Steve, they must have announced a U.S.-based.
Going the wrong way here.
There you go. They will invest $50 billion in the U.S. manufacturing by 2030, including a new facility in Virginia and expansions in several states. So, again, if you like a foreign pharmaceutical company and they haven't yet announced their investment, that might be a play right now, huh? Because once they do, they move right back up 6.4%. So again, AstraZeneca has announced a big investment here into U.S. production, has them moving to the upside.
Qs are starting to drop again.
Moderna up about 4.84% today. Regeneron up 4.64%. Regeneron was way down yesterday, though. Oh, no, way up yesterday. Never mind. I saw them in the news yesterday. Etsy up about 4.1% here, retracing about half of their losses yesterday. Nike's still giving back a little bit, only up 3.96% now. Hertz up about
S&P Global September final manufacturing PMI now coming in at 52 versus 53. So that should push it. Another reason for the Fed to cut rates. But PMI manufacturing coming in lighter and lighter.
Dell Computer, nice move to the upside, 3.73%, trading at 147 here. That's up about 18% over the last month. MongoDB up 2.8%. Datadog up 2.73%. So we've seen a nice move out of a lot of the legacy companies here. Peloton down 7.67%, so it has found a little bit of a floor there.
Qs are really dropping here.
Stera Labs getting hit again, about 3.8% to the downside here. TKO, parent company of the UFC, down about 3.68% here today. News Corporation down about 3.75% and dropping. So we do have some laggards that you do see here. Live Nation, another one down through over 3% so far this morning. RCL down about 2.56% here this morning, Steve.
Yeah, people losing jobs are not going to go on cruises.
Target down 2.43% also. So definitely some laggards there. Meta down about 2.21%, Netflix 2.27%. So big drags on the Qs there. We also see Adobe down about 2.56% today.
Tick dropping, Qs dropping.
Yeah, definitely seen a little bit of sell-off here across everything.
Yeah, there goes the Qs.
Q's now down about 0.5%. Tick negative 400 here. Advanced declines pullback.
Somebody just dumped the Qs.
Yep.
I had a feeling it's coming, folks. I mean, it just is. It's too frothy.
Meta looking to fill that gap to the downside here. Almost right to it. You start to like Netflix at 700, Steve?
Not yet. We're hearing reports that taxation of digital assets is now in the Senate Finance Committee hearing.
Can only get better. Can't get worse. UNH nicely a little up today. Coinbase giving back some of that profit it has seen in the early morning here.
Tick just dropping again, now down 300 here. Silver taking a little bit of a breather here as well. Oil 61.33 now a barrel here. Could break the 61 handle here, under 60, and you're going to start seeing major oil producers getting nervous.
Yeah, for sure, right? I mean, that's sort of their break even. Apple giving back some of those morning gains here. Same thing. Tesla giving, well, now Tesla moving back up a little bit. Microsoft down about 1%. NVIDIA down 1.27% here.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I'm trying to feel like some of these tech names are way over.
Steve, does Berkshire start to be attractive to you under 500 here?
Not yet.
Not yet.
They'll be a good. They're a good play. A little drop here in Tesla. We could be happy.
There you go.
It is starting to. What's going on at the house there, Howard?
I don't know if they're starting. Let me shut that window. I think they're starting that construction I told you about. We got the lovely news this week as I saw people putting stakes in my backyard and said, "What are those?" "Oh, we're putting in a 25-foot sewer line, 25 feet down."
They didn't even ask you.
Nothing but fun. There you go, Bitcoin 116,777 here, moving to the upside. Breaker 117 gives you a nice little run towards 118.5 or so, probably. So crypto picking back up a little bit.
Morgan Stanley raised the price target on Robinhood to 146, up from 110.
Love it. Well, it's already trading at 140, so pretty safe to do that now. Pretty safe when it's already there.
One 116.8 now on Bitcoin. We're gonna break 117 here.
I just said that. If you do,
sorry.
it's gonna pump.
We think alike. I like it. Tick up, up 300.
Yeah, we're right at the edge of some short squeeze happening here. So the bears are defending it pretty hard and have been for the last hour and a half, 2 hours. But the bulls are trying to push us here towards that 120 weekly expiry. That's pretty big for them. So you could see a pump up towards that.
Well done, Jack.
Nice.
And I'm looking here at Tesla now. A nice little drop there, I think.
Going back towards your entry there.
Well, I went 2 or 3 times short, as everybody knows here. So it's like keep my eye tight here.
Looks like it's dropping, trying to get back below VWAP right now. I do see our main man, Mr. Flanagan, entering the room. We got to ask him what's going on with King Dollar here, as it seems to be fading away a little bit. Mr. Flanagan, how are you today?
Good morning, guys. Red shirt,
Man.
red shirts selling the dollar. The dollar index down now around 97.5. Not looking good. You've got last week's close of 98.18, so we're well below that. And now, for all of our technical chartists, no matter what you're trading, you not only have a last week close to look at, but now you have quarter three close. So you've got some awesome technical levels, provided you're staying below or above, to utilize as some real good risk management, keeping things very tight, because right now we are in a highly emotional driven market, and emotions probably the worst thing you can have in a trading market, because rationality goes out the window. So door, window, yep. But I did want to point out there was a big piece of news come out yesterday. The Bank of International Settlements, which is the central bank, referred to as the BIS, came out with their triennial, every 3 year survey on the daily FX volume turnover. It was $7.5 trillion, as you've heard me echo many times, which is why I highlight money moves first. It is now $9.6 trillion trades in 1 day. So when we talk currencies, that's a 27.8% increase of volumes over 3 years ago.
Okay, so tell me why.
Because this is money, and money moves in rapidly, especially today. How fast does a trade message send, let's say, between New York and Tokyo, or let's say New York and London? You can send a trade message, and it is really constrained by the speed of light. So it takes about 160 milliseconds, anywhere from 145 to 160 milliseconds in which money needs to move. That's how fast a transaction can round trip. I say sell, it sells and comes back and acknowledges. 1,000 milliseconds to 1 second. Well, at $9.6 trillion, it's just what I try to emphasize in currencies is how fast things can adjust. And this is what our central bankers, the Fed in particular, is missing. Markets, pricing adjusts instantaneously to the new developments in the world. So government shutdown, what's going to happen? Dollar is beginning to trade lower. Yen seems to be the primary safe haven play right now, trading down at 146.67. It's well below last week's close of 149.47. And now we have a September close of 147.80. So watch the yen. This is where the money is beginning to move, as well as the Mexican peso. Wow, who would want to do that? But Mexican peso is a 7% currency, and it shows yield, and that's trading 18.2975, and that's beginning to surge as money moves to the sidelines and watches this stupidity going on in the United States political arena right now. Clearly.
Why do you think it's stupidity, Steve? You've been supporting of this administration. Now it's stupidity?
Steve, I'm supportive of the administration. Yes, I think there's a lot of good things. Look at the Trump RX. I mean, this is a prescription drugs dropping 85%. So when I say stupidity, I say it in a blanket to politicians.
Yeah, agreed.
I'm not taking sides in this. Clearly, I would like to see equity markets continue going up. I want to see that the vitality of the U.S. economy begin to kick in. So when I say stupidity, I just look at the both sides and say, hey, what are you guys doing for us down here in the trenches?
one of the old adages is this time is different. This time is different. To me, it seems like this is the same. I've watched my tongue a little bit. Same bull crap. And it just seems that we don't want to get anything done. 5 years ago, the Republicans were very blocking all of the budget bills. Now the Democrats are trying to block all these budget bills now. Why is the markets ignoring all of this?
Because the markets don't have the faith in the politicians. They see this, they see right through this. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to go out with a prediction. Out with the old, in with the new. We need more youth and vitality in our government. You know, I think what you're seeing in the United States, I think you're seeing a much more involved, educated youth movement. And I'm not talking those out in the streets screaming. I'm talking about the mainstream youth. And I think that they're looking at this going, why the heck are we being held hostage to 80-plus-year-old senators and Congress people that really have they don't care. They're all millionaires, you know, a whole different subject, but how do you become a millionaire on a civil service salary? But and I think the youth
never ask that question. Never ask that question.
But the youth sees right through it, and I think what's going to end up happening is you're going to end up with another youth movement throughout our political system because they're going to get things done. You know, so that's the way I'm looking at it. I see the BIS; it was a big number. I'm watching currencies here, real careful. You know, the world is still shrinking while there are some pickups in economic numbers throughout the world. Basically, the world's economic growth is like just holding in. And, you know, there is a heartbeat, but not much. And I would highlight one thing that did happen, along with Pfizer joining into this Trump RX thing, which is a very big positive to Americans down here in the trenches. But Switzerland also, you know, I've talked about 0% interest rates. They increased the Swiss banking deposits level. In other words, if you're holding a level of money in the bank, they now said, well, we're going to hit a surcharge on your money of 0.25%. And they raised that threshold. In other words, what are they doing? They're chasing money out of the banking system and back into the marketplace. So, you know, we've talked about, you know, interest rate controls that Japan had done. And there's been lots of theories that the U.S. could do it. Well, here comes more untraditional methods that the Swiss are putting in. Watch out. You know, this is a very fluid situation that we're in. And I think that the markets are well aware of it. We know what's going on. We see the foolishness, and we also know where it's going. So once this little dip is over, and the dip could go, Steve, you talked, I think, 12 to 17%. I was around 5 to 10.
Yeah.
You know, it's going to happen, and it could happen if this prolongs this closure of the government.
How long does this need to go on before people start to realize that things are going to start going bad here?
I think every day that they stay closed, you're going to erode the base of support, and the markets will cave in, and it'll be a great buying opportunity. I think, you know, we used to say on the trading desk, keep your powder dry, because there will be great opportunity. Out of their stupidity, we will be rewarded with opportunistic levels to get into the market from an investor point of view.
Right. And I think that's part of the problem right now is that with the sheer amount, and I think we talked about it earlier, a couple weeks ago, 7.2 trillion on the sideline, 7.9 now. It's just a little bit, but to me, the markets just don't seem to really get it right now. I think that there's just, it's the ostrich that I always talk about, the head in the sand kind of feel right now, that things are better than they think it is. But when the numbers come out, oh, I'm surprised by it, and that's why the markets move so violently. And then I'm on the wrong side of this trade. I mean, institutions are selling. They're not buying down here. They're buying. They're selling. Retail is the only one really buying here, and they're not buying. They're not really buying the stock. They're buying options. And look, for somebody who's been in the options market for 35 years. Right now, we're seeing live Speaker Johnson now speaking about it. He seems to be concerned. He says the longer this goes on, the more pain will be inflicted. My friend Senator John Thune now speaking here, Senate Majority Leader, is now speaking as well. I think both sides are seem to be a little bit concerned here. You don't see them come out like that unless they are thinking there's maybe a longer term here. So, yeah, I see it. You're talking about the stupidity on both sides. It's almost pathetic here at this point.
Yeah, and the markets, Steve, you're right. You can call it head in the sand. I'm a little surprised we're not, trading a little more aggressively lower. But my forte is studying price.
Right.
And I'm watching price, and what does the price tell me? Despite the obvious that I want to sell, price tells me there's a hell of a lot more demand out there than I think people are. It's not necessarily retail, Steve. I think that there is significant buying going on from areas that we are yet to be aware of where it's coming from.
Who is doing it? So you're saying you don't know who it's coming from, and I don't either. I really don't see where this buying is coming from or what they're doing. There's something here. I'm not going to call it nefarious, but when you see job losses the way that they're picking up here, but now I say that, but in 1997, when I was screaming that there's no way .com was out of control, I mean, people were buying. I mean, you could throw a dart at a map of stocks, and you could have toilet paper stocks were winning, right? 2008, when I was screaming the markets are overbought, the market kept pushing up. I remember the movie The Big Short. I read the book, and I know most of those real players by name, and I'm actually friends with Michael Litt, right? Michael Litt personally. Same situation, right? Boom, 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 and then one day the bottom falls down, and it's like, well, we always knew it. Well, why were you still invested, right? And I think that's what's happening now, right? The risk management is pretty much out the door right now. And that's what I think. I think risk management is not paying attention.
Yeah, I'm not going to disagree, Steve. I mean, I would definitely make sure that I have some defensive hedges on right now, definitely. And if it's kind of throwing away money, if it goes up, so what? But you have to be prepared. When it corrects, it'll be a 1 to 3 day correction. And that's
okay.
And that's why I'm highlighting the currencies. $9.6 trillion now. When it moves, $9.6 trillion, that's a watermelon going down a garden hose. So, you got to react when it starts to go. It's going to happen quick. Doing some research after this number started to trip over myself and reading things that there's this new quantum communication level that's being utilized and experimented out there in the world of finance. And they're talking about using quantum entanglement and being able to cut latency times down to close to zero. Understand, when the world trades, and how in the world of crypto, latency trading is huge. In FX, it's been partially removed. But when you trade in the world, if you're in Tokyo and the price is in New York right now, how do you execute a trade? I mean, there's quite a bit of lag time in sending your message. I go back, read the Flash Boys if you want to understand and get a better handle of what we're talking about. Yeah. But when you begin to do this and bring these levels down to near zero, down right now, I think they're down in the low 130 milliseconds. You begin, when people say, I don't want to be long anymore, I think it's time to sell. Think of the wave of selling that hits the market. Magnify it now when everybody trades ETFs.
Right.
And ETFs now have to go out and send a basket of sell orders out into the marketplace. Great subjects to discuss at a later date. But my point is, when the sell-off, when the ostrich pulls its head out of the sand, it's going to be a quick move, and that could be 1 to 3 days. And that's probably going to force all the politicians to the table and everybody start to agree.
Right. Well, what do you? It seems that there's no black swan. Everybody keeps saying black swan, black swan, black swan. I never invest. I never trade based on the possibility of a black swan. I think that's literally the dumbest thing ever. I mean, what is it, and where's it going to be, and how's it going to happen? I mean,
that's why it's called a black swan, right?
My crystal ball is still broken, Steve. It doesn't work, right? I'm not even. I just saw Trump's tweet here a second ago. Look, what is it that people are going to need to go? Okay, I need to wake up and say this is out of control, right? I mean, wow.
In today's market, I don't look for black swans. A black swan to me is an uncorrelated events happening across different asset classes that suddenly come in and boom, makes sense. You have to sell. It could be something in the crypto space that suddenly happens. It could be something in the Ukraine. It could be something in Israel, in the Gaza.
And we talk about Bitcoin right now, Steve. 117.3.
Yeah, you got to be on that trade, man. It's going up. I mean, probably going straight through 120 here. And
okay.
Why? Because look what's going on in the United States. And again, stupidity. And people are going, all right, give me gold, give me silver, and get me some Bitcoin in.
Where's Bitcoin going then, Steve? I mean, you're the currency man, and you're talking about Bitcoin. I didn't expect that. That's good. So what do you think about Bitcoin? Where are we going with that?
Howard and I have touched on this, currencies and Bitcoin, there's a parallel course that we're heading on. That's no question. Bitcoin, it's a limited supply. So right there, supply and demand imbalance. There was some big selling that went on. That's why it came down. But big buying comes back in. And people have gone short. That's all going to get busted. I think you're probably going to see, breaking 120, 121. And then I say target 144 to 150.
But when?
Steve, if we have a shutdown beyond a week, I would think Bitcoin could easily trade up 135 to 145. I mean,
the president, the administration, and all of his people all have crypto, right? So are they trying to keep the government shut down until they get their money?
Oh boy, now you go with some of the
conspiracy theory 101. Let's do it.
Well, there's all sorts of theories. Just type it in to the viewers. Go in and just type, what's the U.S. game plan with their debt? And there's all sorts. You had one of the top Russians announce it at a big economic forum last week. United States is looking to devalue its way out of its debt, utilizing the cryptocurrencies. And
if this is the case, is he also using this as a backdrop to be able to get rid of lots of employees in the U.S. government? If we're going to go, everybody here knows I'm not a conspiracy theorist guy.
Yeah, neither am I.
Because quite frankly, I mean, I worked in the government for so long, I know how it all works. So,
right. It's not a conspiracy. He's going to take advantage of a situation. He's good at that. This is an opportunity for him to lower headcount across the federal government. Those that were there for his first administration know he did a very good job of that and didn't hire them back. And to be honest with you, the Biden administration did not hire a lot of them back either. So they've already been at a lower headcount. Steve and I know many people that were on the higher end of the civil servants at U.S. Treasury and other places that left because they were doing the job of 2 or 3 people. So that drain does concern me. And it's a way also you save money because anybody that you let go during this, you don't pay back money to. So everybody that just gets sort of furloughed gets their money back at the end of it. If he actually lets go of them, they don't. So it's a weird one. And that's not on the president. This is on both sides. And the stupidity, as you've been talking about, that's across the board. Stop this, put them back to work, fund the government, take all the other crap out of it, and just get a funding bill in place.
and then your deficit starts to go down, and then the dollar turns around.
Yeah. Again, all the other stuff is a byproduct, but the more important part is those folks that that do the lower level of the government need their money. They need their jobs. This isn't a time to lay them off or give an opportunity to the current administration to do that.
All down the road of a conspiracy. I don't like to buy into those. However, the pieces of the puzzle do begin to, fall in place here. I don't know. I'm not going down that. What I'm looking at right now is the government.
Oh, come on, let's go down the rabbit hole.
No, I'm not either. I'm on the other side of it, where I don't think it's conspiracy, but I do think he is going to take advantage of the hand in front of him to, save some money. He's good at that.
Yeah. And then, watch gold and watch the crypto market.
Crypto crypto believes it 114, 117, 450. Like we said, it's going to 118 today. I mean, I study price now.
That's right. I study price, and prices are telling me that money is going to the sidelines into something they know, gold, and into what the new world order is moving into the crypto space. And they're basically stepping out of the dollar. In this interim, the dollar has great support. So I make sure I say 97.22 in the dollar index. If that level breaks, look out below. We're going to start rotating down again. Right. And I don't know if that's not part of the game plan and the conspiracy as well. A cheaper dollar means the U.S. exports become cheaper. It also means, and Steve, back into who is the buyer. Well, I mean, we have anywhere of 10 to 15 trillion dollars of money that has been pledged to the U.S. through all these agreements. I don't know. Is that where the buying is coming from? And then back into your conspiracy, is this not the window that's opening to allow them all in? So I don't know. Let's just look at to here and now. Right now, stupidity through our government is not a good thing. You say ostrich has a head in the sand. I don't disagree with you there. I'm defensively hedging, increasing my hedges, looking at the volatility indexes and looking, to play some of the SQQQ. And, because if if the market corrects, tech is going to get hit hard because of the frothiness that you've alluded to that's in it.
Awesome. Any last words for us, gentlemen, before we take off for the day?
The case is building right now against the dollar. So I'm out of my dollar longs. I took them out on Sunday evening in early Asian trading. I want to wait and see what's going on. 97.22 is the support point in the dollar index. So that's how I'm going to look at it. I'm defensively hedging myself.
I love it. I will be off tomorrow. Big Beat will be here to lead you guys through everything going on tomorrow. And we'll all be back on Friday together for our little farewell party for the weekend. Everybody, be careful out there trading. Watch what happens on the tweet analysis, because there are going to definitely be more of it. And there are definitely winners and losers in the market today. There are definitely some things that are moving to the upside. As we said, a lot of the commodities and crypto for sure. Everybody, have a fantastic day.